When we talk about law, most people think of courts, judges, or written rules. But have you ever asked a deeper question? Why does a country's legal system look the way it does today? Why does it function the way it does? And why does it change over time? In Cambodia, the answer is not found in a single moment. It is found in a long and complex journey shaped by history, transformation, and rebuilding. So, to understand Cambodian law today, we need to go back and follow that journey step by step. Before laws were written in books or enforced in courts, they existed in a very different form. A form closely connected to daily life, tradition, and belief. For many centuries, Cambodia's legal and social order was influenced by Buddhist teachings and Khmer traditions. During this period, law was not primarily written or formalized. Instead, it was embedded in customs and social expectations. This meant that people understood rules through moral values, religious guidance, and community practices. For example, if two people had a disagreement, it was often resolved through village elders or respected monks. The goal was not punishment, but restoring harmony within the community. This traditional system provided social order for centuries, but it would later be transformed by a completely different legal philosophy, one based on written law and formal institutions. During the French colonial period, Cambodia was introduced to the civil law system. This marked a major shift in how law was understood and applied. Instead of relying on customs, law became written, organized, and enforced through formal institutions. For example, property ownership required legal documentation. Contracts had to be written and legally recognized. Dispute was resolved in formal courts, applying written codes. This introduced a more structured and systematic legal order. Even after independence, this legal structure did not disappear. Instead, it continued to shape Cambodia's legal system for decades. From 1954 to 1975, Cambodia's legal system remained largely modeled on the French system. During this time, Cambodia developed a comprehensive legal framework that governed everyday life. This included civil law, commercial law, and general legal procedures. For example, if someone started a business, they would operate through formal commercial regulations rather than informal agreements. This period represented a relatively structured and organized legal environment. However, this continuity did not last. The legal system experienced a major break in its development. Between 1975 and 1979, Cambodia underwent a period of significant legal transformation. The existing legal system and institutions were abolished. In practical terms, disputes were no longer handled through formal legal procedures as before. This period also saw the loss of many trained professionals, including those in the legal field, which deeply affected institutional continuity. And after this period, Cambodia faced a major challenge. It was not just about reforming law, but rebuilding it almost from the ground up. Following the Vietnamese intervention in 1979, Cambodia began reconstructing its legal system. However, this process was extremely difficult due to the lack of experienced legal professionals and institutions. During this decade, courts were gradually established, basic legal frameworks were rebuilt, and new legal personnel had to be trained. The system during this time was influenced by the Vietnamese legal model, which helped guide early reconstruction efforts. This period focused on restoring basic legal order step by step. The next major transformation came when Cambodia moved toward peace and constitutional development. Following the Paris Peace Agreement, Cambodia entered a new phase under the supervision of the United Nations Transitional Authority in Cambodia, known as UNTA. This process led to the adoption of a new constitution in 1993. This constitution introduced key principles such as political pluralism, human rights, and the rule of law. It also established Cambodia as a constitutional monarchy, so it means citizens gain the ability to participate in elections and the governance became structured under constitutional principles and etc. This marked a fundamental shift toward a modern legal and political system. Since this constitutional foundation, Cambodia has continued to develop and strengthen its legal system. Since 1993, Cambodia has made steady progress in legal reform. Efforts have been put on strengthening legal institutions, improving legal frameworks, and modernizing the justice system. For example, new laws have been introduced to support economic development, court systems have been restructured and improved, and legal procedures have become more standardized over time. However, important challenges remain. These include strengthening judicial independence and ensuring consistent enforcement of laws in practice. This reflects the ongoing process of legal development. In conclusion, Cambodian law today is the result of multiple historical layers. It reflects traditional cultural foundations, colonial legal influence, reconstruction efforts, and constitutional development. Understanding this journey helps us see that law is not static. It evolves continuously with history, society, and governance. And in that sense, Cambodian law is not only a system of rules, it is also a record of how a nation rebuilds and reshapes itself over time.